it's so heartening to hear all these voices. It gives me great confidence that all of us educators are speaking the same language. In every single person who spoke so far, we all spoke about putting the child at the center of it and to ensure that they are happy and at peace and more centered. And that's the most important thing. Everything else was secondary. Not a single voice of yours spoke about how important it is to do well. Not a single voice spoke about how, the career and the future is so important. We are all focusing on the fact that they need to be healthy in their minds in order for them to do other things. And I thought that was such a heartening thing to hear. We have, of course, I also heard the voice of the residential school. So Pathways, of course, has three branches in Delhi itself, and one of ours is a residential school. And the challenges would have been very similar, Mr. Ajay, to the things that you spoke of. For a day school, it's a little different. We have children who come and go. And so the whole discussion that was centering around both the parent body and the faculty and the students is what happens to cross infections that come and go. So from, very much like how WhatsApp University has been functioning, the conversations went from knowing a great deal about science to knowing nothing about science, and then going back again to knowing a great deal about virus activity to knowing nothing about it. And not to mention all the gharelu nukse that everybody was coming up with. But I love the fact that, we generated discussions, we centered discussions around the impact of it, and we brought it back into the classroom, we brought it back into their lives. So suddenly, that gap that we've been experiencing, and we've all as educators been talking about, that education does not have relevance to everyday life, that we're getting constricted by syllabus, suddenly that went out of the window. Because I know in every school, and certainly in ours, we brought the current situation into the economics classroom, into the science classroom, into every discussion possible, into the languages, so that we made it relevant to them. Yes, we had the school sanitized, students came in and there was this guarded movement in everything that they did, but the anxiety continued. And as a parent, you would understand the anxiety, and as an educator, you have a different kind of anxiety. So yeah, we waited very much for the government to take a stand on it. We are an IB school, and the IB stand was that they will go by what the national government does. And until such time as CBSE took a call on what they wanted to do with the boards, our children too were torn between examination and non-examination, how it would be. And today, of course, the IB has given us the non-exam route. So their next anxiety, so we were kind of moving from one anxiety to the other, and I can see that all of you were doing much the same thing as well. That, okay, now will we have exams or not? All right, so we're not having exams. And now that we're not having exams, does that mean that how will I be marked? What would that be like? And that was what they were obviously looking to see and looking to hear. Through all of this, I think a lot of hand holding is something that we've done. Along with the hand holding, we've ensured that all of the stakeholders in the community are involved. So the parents, the teachers, and the children. But I think the one pillar that we haven't spoken about, which is so important for our children, is the people who are going to be accepting them. That is our universities. We've asked for the boards to be generous in the way that they mark. We've asked our boards to be generous in the timelines that they're giving. But are the universities going to step up? Are they going to be less stringent in their entry requirements? Are they going to be more welcoming to our children across the globe because they have gone through these exceptional circumstances? So, that is the question that I actually have. And I would love for us to have continued that part of the discussion at some point. I think honestly, right now, the most important thing is, and sitting in March 2021 and imagining what was it like in March 2020. In March 2020, we spoke about how we center things around the family, bring things together, let them enjoy their homes. But I think children have had enough of that. Now what they want is a sense of purpose. They feel that sense of purpose. They need to have that sense of achievement. So all of the initiatives that some of you spoke of, online initiatives, things that they can do at home, things that you can make them do, can we find ways to make them feel that sense of achievement? Perhaps for older children, some kind of an internship, so that they feel that their future is still on track. It's just being approached in a slightly different way. For younger children, as somebody suggested, could they do activities which help them return to their community? How about being peer mentors? That's such an important role. And a peer mentor can be academic and non-academic. And as you rightly said, the focus has to be on what's going on in the head, because that is what will determine anything else. But most of all, I think to this community that I'm so happy to be a part of, I'm glad that we're all speaking the same language. And I'm glad that we want the same things for all of our children. And I wish you and the communities to which you belong, your homes and your families and your schools, your children and your parents, the best of health and the best of mental health in the days to come. Thank you.